Hi, thanks so much for joining our webinar today. It's Webinar Wednesday, and we're going to be talking about physician personal branding. The goal of today is to get you some information to help you really make good choices in terms of building the brands of your docs. Now, I know that gives you pause because you're thinking about what if they leave? What if they don't have time for it? What if they're annoyed by it or frustrated by it, etc. Yet, this is the way you're really going to be able to build the brand of your facility, whether you are a healthcare center or hospital or physician's practice or whatever it might be. They're there to see your docs. And so your doctors, your physicians, they're the ones that you really want to work on building the brand of. My name is Jackie Russo. I'll be leading you in this webinar today. If you have any questions, please feel free to use the chat feature and list them there, and I'll be happy to answer them, typically at the end or offline later if you want to keep it private. If you'd like to get a copy of the slides, just send an email to me. My email's at the end, and I'll be happy to send them to you. If you've registered for the webinar, then the entire presentation, the slides, and the audio will be emailed to you about an hour and a half or 2 hours after we're done. So you'll have plenty of information at that point, and you can replay it, share it with friends and family and coworkers, etc. I will have us in and out in less than 30 minutes, and I hope that you get some information that you can use that is true, actionable advice that you find can make a difference. So let's get started. Wouldn't it be nice if your hospital had a bunch of intelligent, caring, invested employees to say nice things on behalf of you? Wait, you already do. Now, before I go any further, I want you really to think about that for a minute. The stakeholders of your organization, whether you're a hospital or a nonprofit who raises funds for a specific cause, at the end of the day, your organization has stakeholders, right? The employees who work there, the board members who help run it, the management team who runs it, the people who receive your services. Those are the people that interact with your organization day in, day out. And I would imagine, since you're still around, they are getting what they need. Their expectations are being met or exceeded. You are delivering on your brand promise, which is to maintain their health, improve their health, whatever it might be. Provide new technology, provide a resource for the community. So, to that end, they are already people who are your biggest brand advocates. Those are the people that you need to be empowering to say nice things about you. They may not know how. They may not know that they should. They may not know what they should say. They may just not want to talk about work when they're done. But at the end of the day, the question, so what do you do, comes up multiple times a day for everyone. No matter whether you're married, single, kids, no kids, active and engaged in the community, or race home for a TV dinner and a good solid session with Netflix and some binge streaming. No matter what your life entails, at some point you're asked, so what do? You want them to have the right answers. You want them to be empowered to say the right things. But at the end of the day, the biggest people that you need to be focused on are your physicians, because they're the last ones we ever think of. They're the doctors. Of course, they say nice things. Really? Do they know what happens beyond what happens in their exam room or their offices? Probably not. Do they know what you're doing in terms of reinvesting in technology? Do they know the growth plans and the strategies? Do they know why the hospital administrators or the organization leaders have done what they've done? Or are they in the dark and therefore not always saying the right things the right way, the way you want them to? So you want to make sure that your physicians are on board and messaged and know what's going on, because they're essential to attracting community buy-in. Unlike other types of businesses, patients go to the hospital solely for the doctor's expertise. That expertise becomes an ownable part of the overall hospital brand. When someone thinks about coming to your organization, your center, your office, they're doing it because of the physician most often, right? Either the physician has referred them or they're coming to actually see one of your physicians. So how is that physician matching up. It's an important part of the brand puzzle. It's one of the biggest pieces. And I tell you, it's one of the last things we consider and work on and think about. When we go in and do branding assessments at centers and organizations, and we work out how all those components should be, they are one of our main target audiences because we know just how important they are to the overall process. From a business perspective, it makes sense to market their knowledge as part of the hospital's image. So more important even than what they're saying to other people about you, it's what are they saying about themselves? How are they sharing their knowledge? What are they doing to let people know who they are and engage with them? I hate to think of healthcare as a business. I do. I think that what you do day in, day out is pure and important and necessary, and it truly serves a higher calling. It is a mission. However, being nonprofit doesn't mean you can't look at budgets. It doesn't mean you can forego a business approach to making sure you make more money than you spend so that you can continue to provide the services you provide. So we have to put some business to it. I don't want to do it in a dirty way. I just want to do it in a professional way so that we know we're doing what we need to do. So as a marketing director, communications professional, whatever your title might be, you've got a team of potential brand advocates right inside your organization. By influencing your physicians to invest in personal branding, you can effectively strengthen the brand of the organization at large. So you want to empower them. Yet, I bet the very first thing you're thinking is, they're going to tell me they don't have time. They're going to tell me they don't care. They're going to tell me they don't spend time on computers. They're going to tell me, I know all the objections the physicians are going to lay at you. What you need to do is give it to them in baby steps, little bitty bite-sized nuggets, things that they can easily overcome and just handle a little bit at a time so you're not overwhelming them. You're not telling them to stop providing care and start working for the marketing department. You just want to encourage them to do a little bit here and a little bit there because it works for them and for you. The business of healthcare is actually becoming competitive. We have to worry now about where people are going because there's more choice than ever before. There are more patients than ever before. And we have to make sure that you're getting the right ones, the ones you need and want. So it's all about inspiring pride in your physicians so that they represent you in the best possible light. Here are 4 ways your doctors can start building better personal brands. Now, you may actually be having the conversation with the physician, so this may be helpful, or you may be having to talk to their office manager. Hopefully, this is even more helpful in those situations. Number 1, reviews. Who is checking their online reviews? I get it. They're not a restaurant. They're not a tourist destination. They shouldn't be bound by those opinions, by the anonymous people who like to rant online. I get it. I do. But the reviews are becoming more important than ever before. They're becoming important in reimbursements. They're becoming important in patients making their own choices and decisions. They're becoming important in your reputation. So your physicians need to know what's being said about them, about the patient experience, about how they're greeted, how the billing is handled, about the cleanliness of the waiting room. These are things people are writing about and they matter. And look, if it's just one rant surrounded by 15 really happy people, we can dismiss that person possibly as the crackpot they might be. But what if it's 10 or 12 or 14 people who have similar experiences with the cleanliness of your waiting room? They're bringing, let's say it's a pediatrician's office, and they're bringing in their well kids for a checkup, for immunizations, and yet what they're discovering is dirty spaces. And I see a lot of reviews where that's happening, where they're writing about it, they're showing photographs off chairs, toys, doors, windows, walls, etc. What if it is the front desk and they're not being nice? Don't you want to know? What if when you, by the time you see the patient, they've already waited an hour and 15 minutes and they're irritable and you just think a whole bunch of your patients are in really bad moods? Don't you want to know what's really setting them off? It's about the scheduling or the over scheduling in this case. So reading those reviews are important. You want to get inside the heads of your patients. You want to know your customers, because that's ultimately what they are. Are they satisfied? Is the customer satisfaction there? In most physician offices, you're not doing a lot of surveying like they are at the hospitals. So how are you finding out what the experience has been like for them? You need to go online. You need to read what's being written on Facebook. You need to read what reviews are being posted on the websites. It's the first step in learning how to speak to the physicians, is knowing what the community is saying about them. Reading the online reviews is good, insightful research. Next is differentiate. Now, I get it. You're thinking, we went to med school. We're doctors. We are not stores that have to differentiate based on product placement and packaging and price and the 4 Ps that you marketing people learned about in college. I get it. I know. But it's important. Explaining to someone who you are and what you're about and how you work means the right patients are seeking you out. You don't want to be thinking about a certain kind of practice and how you want to run it, and then all of a sudden you're getting people who have a very different expectation. You want the messages to meet the experience, right? So differentiate is important. Knowing who you are and what the experience should be is important. So for obvious reasons, it pays to differentiate in a competitive marketplace. In Lafayette, there are 3 different pediatrician groups in town that all use the exact same clip art photo. Could not make it up if I tried. And because I love one of these pediatric groups dearly, I'm not outing anybody, but I'm telling you, it's the exact same clip art photo. Exactly. Same color, same image, used in the same way. And their names, by the way, are all eerily similar. So my favorite is the one who had the name first and the logo first, but they can't protect it because it came from clip art. We didn't do the work, trust me. However, now the follows, the tag-alongs, the Me Too's, they've used exactly the same thing. They've reordered the words in the name, but it's the same words. They're using the exact same thing. And so when someone sees that online or in a mailer or in some sort of advertisement, you want to talk about some confusion. People show up at the wrong office all the time. They've made an appointment for one group, gone online to get the address, see the same logo, and show up at the office of another group. Now, sure, it's their fault. Sure, they should have double-checked their information better. But we didn't do much to help them out, right? We kind of added to that confusion. So you need to differentiate. And we're not talking about the 4 Ps. We're just really talking about having a name and a mark that's different. You don't want us to blend in. At no point of branding is it about blending in. It's about standing out. It's about people knowing who you are. When you look at the new trends with plastic surgery, differentiation in this case is about being board certified, because there's so many doctors who are not board certified in plastic surgery but are doing those procedures. Sure, I mean, they're trained. It's legal. It's not like they're breaking any laws. I'm not saying that. But if you went the extra mile and got the board certification, you need people to know that. And you need them to realize why it's important that they go to a board certified physician instead of someone who's just doing it because they're interested in that practice. And again, I'm not bashing on any one person or group, so please don't take offense. The point is that if you've gone and gotten the extra training, let people know it's important. Your online presence is another thing that's very important. Even with referrals, patients will go online. They want to go track down your phone number and your address. They need to get directions to where you're located. They may want to go to the website because they're thinking they can download the new patient forms and have them filled out before they get there, so they don't have to sit in your waiting room as long. So it's necessary to have a website. Even if it's just a simple brochure site with some about us information and contact info, you need to have a presence. People need to be able to find you. Now, on the best case scenario, people can use your website to get into their electronic records. They can make appointments, change appointments, download forms. They can get information. They can really learn more about you, your philosophies, your recommendations. You can become, in a way, an added resource for them with knowledge. That's on the opposite ends of the spectrum, one is basically our address and our phone number so they know how to find us. And the other end is you become a true full resource online. Now, you will probably end up somewhere in the middle, and that's okay. I'm not saying you have to be at one end of the spectrum or the other. I'm just saying you need to be on the spectrum. I'm saying you have to have some sort of online information. It's important. It really is. It's not something that you can blow off any longer. You have to take the plunge. And I get it. You don't like it. But I was in a physician's office the other day, and the brochure that he had in his waiting room was the brochure that our chief creative officer and co-founder had created 24 years ago when he was a college student as a student project. The man's still using the same brochure. Now, his headshot's in there. Do you think he looks exactly the same? No. The beautiful models that there are photos of inside this brochure, let me tell you, they don't look like that anymore either. So the idea is you can't keep doing the same thing the same way the whole time. You've got to grow and evolve. This physician has new services. He's moved to a new location. I mean, it is not the same thing at all. So stop recycling it. Let's really embrace the modern day. Let's get online and have a presence because people are looking for you. They need to be able to find you. Now, a minute ago, I mentioned the opposite ends of the spectrum. And I said that on one end of the spectrum, you could just have the basics. This is our name, this is our phone number information, right? Thought leadership, the fourth thing for physician personal branding, is the opposite end of that basic website spectrum. Here, you're sharing physicians' knowledge online to build the brand. Doctors who integrate a blog into their website can share their knowledge and establish authority on their practice. So what happens? You can really grow your practice. You can become more specialized and focused if you'd like. We have physicians all the time that say, now that I've been doing this for a while, I really want to concentrate in this one small area, but I don't know if there are enough people to support that. Well, when you do something like this, there are, because you become destination for healthcare. Your service area expands. People travel to you because you become the authority in this one area of expertise. And if that's the thing you want to do all day, well, shouldn't you be able to do that? Why would you want to keep doing all the other things you don't like? Let's put that degree to good use. Let you do the things that you enjoy the most. And that way you can really enjoy your day. You will find more joy in your work when you're doing work you love. So we have a physician that we work with, and he has a blog. It's twice a month. Twice a month. That's it. We're not talking about, a daily toil and trouble. 2 times a month. And not only does it go up on its blog, but it also gets shared online through a number of different methods. And it actually runs as an article in the daily newspaper 2 times a month. All of that combined, he gets close to 4,000 people each month that go to his website and read that blog. He is loving his job right now. Loves it. And that's great. That may not be what you want to do. That's fine. But if you are in a position and have an interest in sharing your knowledge, do so. The public will respond and appreciate you for it. Encouraging your physicians to blog on behalf of the hospital and embrace hospital branding in public and on social media is a no-brainer for deputizing trustworthy brand advocates. Think about that for a second. We literally, the word deputize is the word I love in that paragraph. So we're empowering them not just to be a part of the hospital family, but now to really be an advocate, to go out and talk not just about their practice and what they do, but the system as a whole. Talk about the hospital. Talk about what's going on great there. Even things outside of your department. You all become stronger for those parts. It really is beneficial. Over time, this personal branding effort will build credibility in the community and eventually establish trust in the minds of prospective patients. They'll be more likely to turn to your practice when they're in need because you're top of mind now. So if that's what you want to do to attract patients, this is how you do that. This is how you grow and become more specialized and more focused, or wider and broader if that's what you want. But you now have a little bit of control over who's calling you to be a patient. It's no longer feeling like you are just answering to the whims of the world. You can be a little more focused and a little more driven, and you have a little bit more control. And that's a great thing. Every single word your doctors say about your organization reflects who you are. So if you're the marketing director at the hospital or at a healthcare organization or in a center, you need to know how much they truly reflect you. So beyond them building their brands for themselves, now we need to talk about how they're building or hurting the brand of the organization. Outside of their physician practice, how are they helping or hurting the hospital? They should know this better than anyone else. Through their online and offline social interactions alone, your message is being spread across their networks. So whether they are on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and maybe they're even catching a little Snapchat in between patients. No, probably not, right? But they are in the community. They are a resource. People do ask them questions beyond just referrals. I mean, in basic everyday conversation. So how are they talking about you? How do they explain who you are and what you're about? You need to make sure that they're on message. And if they're not, you need to address it. Because the last thing you want is for them to somehow hurt or impact the overall brand of the organization. Besides determining whether your hospital will make it or break it, your doctors have the potential to be your biggest brand promoters. Converting physicians into recognized thought leaders can work as a massive boost toward engaging external audiences. Now, look, I'm not saying every physician is going to get online and say, yeah, I'd love to do more work. I really want to take on the potential legal hassle of sharing my expert medical opinion online. That'd be great. Sign me up. Okay, I get it. But there are one or two out there who really would like to do it. They think it is a part of their mission to share their knowledge. Find them. Don't try to convert the others. That is a losing proposition. But find the ones who are interested in it and then work a plan out. Find a way to empower them. Maybe it's once a month. Maybe it is twice a month. But let's probably not push for any more than that. Give them a chance to really enjoy it and get the positive feedback for it so they feel like their work is worthwhile. Give them the opportunity to be a part of this so that they see how much people appreciate it. When they've got 4,000 different people, new, unique people coming to their blog every month, month in, month out, and reading what they write, that's going to make them happy. They're going to feel like they're really giving back, especially when they run into those people in the community and those people say, oh, thanks, Doc. Really, that article that you wrote, a couple weeks ago, I can't tell you how much I appreciated it. Perfect timing. That's exactly what I needed to hear right then. So isn't that why you went to med school in the first place? Share that knowledge that you have. Who are your doctors in their day-to-day lives? Now, by no means am I suggesting that they take a video camera and provide an MTV behind-the-scene cribs expose on their house and their family and their habits. Please, that's not it. But you know what? Sometimes getting to know a little bit about the physician is great. Sometimes getting to know a little bit of who they are, their hobbies, their activities, the things that they love, it is a personal bond. People want to know the person that's providing care. Healthcare is more personal than ever before, which is weird because we used to have doctors come into our houses and that was really personal. But now it's personal in the other way. It's the doctor is becoming more personal. The physician is the one you're developing the relationship with. And that's okay. That's a good thing. Let's embrace the opportunity. What do their networks look like? You may need to do a little bit of analysis and provide a report for the physician to say, hey, this is what people are saying about you online and all of those third-party sites. This is what they're saying in your own, because whether you want to be on Facebook or not, your office is. Somebody at some point has checked in there. Somebody at some point has written a review. And the next person that goes there is going to see it because Facebook's going to say, hey, I see where you are. Well, look, this is what somebody else said when they were there. So that conversation's happening, whether you like it or not. So I'm not saying you have to like it, but I am saying you have to be aware of it. And you probably need to do some analysis to say, this is what's going on. This is how we're going to embrace it. How are your physicians using social media if they are? Are they using it the right way? Then give them an attaboy. Thank them, congratulate them, hold them up as a shining example of greatness. If they're not using it at all, then they're probably not aware of what's happening, of the conversations going on behind their back. So get them some awareness quick. And if they're on it, and every time they do something, you just shake your head and think, I'm in damage control mode, great. Educate them. They may just not know, or maybe they need to hear it from somebody other than you. But either way, you want to make sure that you're all rowing the boat in the same direction. It's important. As a marketing director, you can help foster a culture that allows your physicians to believe in the brand as much as you do. Here, you cultivate a strong culture of loyal brand advocates. And that's what's key, is making sure that they're saying the right things the way you want them to, where you want them to, so that you're all working together. Otherwise, you're just spending a lot of time frustrating them by trying to go around and have them change stuff that they thought they were doing the right thing when they did it in the first place. We all want invested employees and stakeholders and partners that have an ownership in what they do and the organization that they work for. Your organization's culture and your organization's brand are really just two sides of the same coin. And with your guidance, your doctors can drive your culture. So think about that for a second. Your culture and your brand, two sides of the same coin. What that means is that how people feel about you, their emotional reaction to you, their gut feeling about who you are and what you're about, that's the brand, right? Well, that brand is driven by the culture. The culture, the marketing messages you put out there, the experience people have when they walk in the door, how they're greeted, the cleanliness, all of those things drive the brand. And in turn, the brand drives the culture. Two sides of the same coin. Your brand should feed your physicians at first, because whether they're actually an employee of the organization or a referral source for the organization, you're going to do a lot to help them. Then the roles are going to reverse, and they're going to do a lot to help you. So at the end of the day, you want your doctors to feel invested, connected, and proud to be a part of the team. So think about that. How are they invested? What are they doing? And I'm not talking about stock ownership. You know what I'm saying. How are they feeling connected to the organization and to the overall culture? Where's their investment? Then where's their connection? How are they sharing that? Where's their pride? So really break it down on a piece of paper. Invested, connected, and proud. What are they doing right? What do you want them to do? What's the plan, Stan? Now, if you have any questions, you can put them into that chat and I'll go check it out. You can also email me. My email address is jackie@brandrusso.com. If you don't already subscribe to Pinpoint, go to pinpointforhealth.org and sign up today. There's at the very top with all those different options, you can go to the one that says webinar, and you can get the list and see exactly all of the webinars we have coming up through October. So that would be a really good source for you in terms of knowing exactly what's going on and sign up for the next ones. If you can't attend, that's totally fine. Just register, because we'll send the whole presentation to you afterwards. So it'll be just like you were here. We don't take roll or attendance. If you'd like to listen to this later, obviously, not only will it come to you in an email, but in that webinar link on pinpointforhealth.org, you can listen to the old ones that have already happened, any of them that you want. In case you missed a few, there they are. So thank you for spending some time with us today. And we're at the 28-minute mark. So I got you in and out in 30 minutes, and that was my goal. If you do have any other follow-up questions later, you can just send me an email, jackie@brandrusso.com. Thanks so much.